Okay, this video is going to cover two parts. First, it'll be over estimation with multiplication. The second will be multiplying compatible numbers. Here you can see the TEKS for the first part. Let's jump right in with the first problem. Brian reads 18 pages in 1 hour. Over the weekend, he reads for a total of 4 hours. Which is the best estimate for the total number of pages that Brian read over the weekend? So what's our main idea? The best estimate for the total number of pages Brian read. Okay, so we're going to reread our problem, set up our details. So Brian can read 18 pages in an hour, and he read for 4 hours. So you can read 18 pages in an hour, and he read for 4 hours. We want to know what's the total. So I'll go ahead and write this down, because I've got 18 repeated over and over again. Okay, and so we'll remember that G times E equals T. T divided by E equals G. T divided by G equals E. Okay, so we're looking for our total. Because we're estimating, we're going to round 18 to 20. So 18 is 20. And I can show you that right here. 18 is between 10 and 20. Right there's 15. 18 is going to be about right there. So therefore it rounds to 20. Okay? And I should note that when you have a one-digit number in a multiplication estimation problem, that number does not need to be rounded. So for our instance, 4, we don't need to round 4. So our problem is 20 times 4. And using our tens and hundreds rule, we just multiply 2 times 4, and that's 8. And we carry our 0. So our product is 80. And let's see, that is right here. It's between 70 and 90. That's where 80 is. So how did we solve it? We rounded 18 to 20, and then we multiplied 20 by 4 to get the best estimate. And 80 is between 70 and 90. Okay. Next example. On Saturday, Mandy bought 3 bags of fertilizer for her mother's yard. Each bag will cover 1,535 square feet. Which is the best estimation for the total number of fertilizer Mandy used? So I want the best amount of fertilizer used. So again, we reread to fill in our details. So there's 3 bags. Each one covers 1,535. 1,535. 1,535. There we go. And I want to know what my total is. So, total, each, groups times each gives us total. Total divided by each gives us groups. And total divided by groups gives us each. We're looking for total, so we're going to use this one up here. Okay. So because we're estimating, 1,535 is it closest to 1,500 or 1,600? Right here in the middle, 1,550. So it gives us 35. It's going to be somewhere in that neighborhood, which means it's close to 1,500. And as I said before, we don't round a one-digit number in a multiplication problem. So 1,500 times 3, because there's 3 bags. I can do 15 times 3 with 2 zeros. 15 times 3 is 45 with 2 zeros. 4,500. How did we solve this problem? I rounded 1,535 to 1,500, and then I found the product of 1,500 times 3. All right, we're moving right along. The good thing, okay, moving right along. The good thing about this video, this being on video, is that you can always go back and rewatch what you missed. So here's our next example. Jeffrey's Boy Scout pack gives beads as rewards for projects. If each of the 16 boys earns 23 beads, which is the best estimate for the number of beads the pack leader should buy? So they want to know the number of beads the leader should buy. And now for the details. So there's 16 boys. 16 boys. That's a lot to draw. So there's 1, and there's 16. All 16 are going to be the same. Each gets 23 beads. See, told you. All the same. And I want to know what the total is. Okay, so once again, total, each, groups times each equals total. Total divided by each equals groups. Total divided by groups equals each. We're looking for total. We're going to use that one. So, we've got 16 boys times 23 beads. Okay, so we take 16. It's an estimation problem, so we're rounding. So closest to 10 or 20. Here's 15. 16 is right past 15. So 16 winds up being close to 20. And here we'll use a different color for 23. I think I can do it down here. 23 is between 20 and 30. Right there in the middle is 25. 23 falls on that side of 25, so we say it's closest to 20. What do you notice? Both end in a 0. So because they both end in a 0, I can use my tens and hundreds trick. 2 times 2 is 4. With 2 zeros, makes it 400. The answer is C. How do we solve it? We rounded 16 to 20 and 23 to 20. We found the product of 20 times 20 by using patterns and multiplying by tens. So now let's take a look at some comparable problems. Here's our, compatible numbers. Here's our TEK for compatible numbers. It's kind of the same. And here's our problem. Two children were packing books to donate to the library. Each child packed 7 boxes with 5 books in each box. About how many books did they pack in all? So now we have the word about. Okay, now we have the word about. Here I'm thinking compatible. Okay, estimate, around, compatible. So either way, we should be getting the same numbers, same kind of answers. So they want us to know, so they want to know about how many books in all, and now we're going to reread our problem to figure out what our details should look like. So there's 2 children. There's child 1. There's child 2. Each of them packs 7 boxes. One box, 7 boxes, 1 box, 7 boxes. Okay? There's 5 books in each box. And we want to know how many that is. Okay? There's multiple ways to solve this problem. For example, There are two children who each pack 7 boxes with 5 books in each. So we can write it as 2 times 7 times 5. If we group, let's see, how can I do this easiest? Let's mark that, and hopefully this works. So if we group 2 and 7, then we would write 14 times 5. Or what if we grouped, didn't work. What if we grouped 7 and 5? Then we would write 2 times 35. Okay, we could also group our 2 and our 5 together. We'd have 2 times 7. I'm sorry, 10 times 7. So remember, compatible numbers are the numbers that are close to the actual numbers in the problem and will work together. So in this case, I'm using 2 and 5, and that gives me 10. And then I'm going to multiply that times 7, and I get 70. And that's exactly how I solved it. I multiplied 2 times 5 to get a product of 10, and found the product of 10 and 7. And our last problem. There are 8 fourth grade classes at Black Elementary. Each classroom has about 27 chairs. About how many chairs are in the 8th grade classes? So I want to know about how many chairs in 8 classes. So there's 8 classes with 27 chairs in each. Okay. Eight classes, 27 chairs in each class. And I want to know how many is that. Total, each groups. Groups times each equals total. Total divided by each equals groups. Total divided by groups equals each. And I want to know my total. So I know that. Alright, so we can write our equation as 27 times 8 equals something. Well, 27 is really close to the number 25. I can do 25 times 8 equals something. 25 is like quarters. And if 4 quarters equals 100 cents, then 8 quarters equals 200 cents. So therefore, 25 times 8 equals, I should pick a different color. 25 times 8 equals 200. Take a look at what I said here. So first, I chose the compatible number 25 to represent 27. It's really close. It's not rounding, but it's pretty close to the same number. Easy for me to figure out in my head. Then I said, well, if 4 quarters equals $1, then 8 quarters equals $2, 200 cents. Okay. There was a lot in this video. As always, go back and rewatch it. If you, go back and rewatch it to make sure that you understand. Please write down any questions on your WISC so that we can discuss it in class.